July 16th, workout breakdown, cardio, baseline day. It's EMOM Roulette. I know this is kind of a fan favorite for a lot of people. It is fun. I want you guys to know, like, when I was creating all these baselines, and I'm still willing to add them in when we find modalities we haven't touched yet, I was trying to find baselines that target every specific modality. And you'll notice that all of our baselines, we pretty much target everything in your body. And those of you who have been with us for a while, you know, naturally, we tend to just start skipping the ones that we know we're not good at. I would, again, as always, advise you guys to, if you see a baseline on the board and you're in town, like, show up to it. Find out where you're at. See what, you know, it doesn't need to be your greatest performance of all time. But again, it'll allow you to know, or at least be enlightened as to, am I in a good spot with this particular modality, or, you know, have I been slacking on this modality? Like, it's not like you don't gotta, you know, rule the world at the end of the baseline. Like, it's okay to not beat your best overall time every single time you do it. Like, you can't be great at everything all the time. It's physically impossible in a training space. So anyways, we've been working on running all months, kind of been the secret emphasis for anybody that watched the videos in the beginning of the month. And this is one of the reasons why, right? So cardio, EMOM Roulette, obviously it's got a large running component in it, but also biking, rowing, and belly burpee. So anybody that's done this in the past, I want to make this video just to go over it real quick, and then also like make sure up any level of confusion people have, and you guys can start thinking about this before you get to the gym, so you just be ready to go and not kind of blindsided about this baseline and how to set it up. So EMOM Roulette, love it. One of the, I think, my better concepts I've come up with in terms of structure. It's just fun. It's a different approach. And the best part about it is you get the ability to kind of like, how well do you know yourself? And I think that's a big part of fitness is, do you pay attention to what you're doing on a day in, day out basis? Do you have any concept of what you can and can't do physically? And if not, let's like figure that out today. And if you do think you know yourself, like, all right, let's put it to the test. And this baseline allows you to do that. So I'm going to show you on the next slide how to set this up. But basically what it is, it says 7 to 10 rounds each. So it's going to be EMOM setup for 40 straight minutes, right? So 10 minutes apiece, 4 exercises, 40 straight minutes. And you're going to ping pong between them, tread, bike, rower, belly burpee, nonstop, every minute on the minute for 40 consecutive minutes or 10 rounds apiece. Now, you do not have to go the full 10 rounds, and I'll explain that in a second. But your goal is to, based off of yourself and how well you know yourself, is to give yourself starting values. You're going to place them on your whiteboard. Let's just hypothetically say you start at 10 meters on the treadmill. In the first minute, this is the treadmill. You have to do 10 meters. You're going to finish it. You have the rest of the minute to rest. You'll then move to the bike. You'll do 1 calorie on the bike. Move on to the rower. Do 1 calorie on the rower. Move on to the belly burpees. Do 1 belly burpee, right? You're already through round 1. You're then going to move back to the treadmill. Everything goes up. The treadmill goes up by 10. Everything goes up by 1. And your goal is to see how far you can physically climb based off the numbers you gave yourself. Is it achievable with the numbers that you gave yourself? And where do you fail if you do fail? So what I mean by that is this is basically your whiteboard. This is what your whiteboard should look like. It's going to have treadmill, bike, rower, belly burpee across the top of it. And then you don't have to draw the lines, obviously. But you're just going to go straight down in these columns, and you're going to pick your starting position. So again, I just picked random numbers here. Treadmill, 10 meters, which is very low, by the way. Most people start higher than that. But you got to do a little bit of math. Like, hey, you know, in the twilight hours here, in twilight minutes, if I am, you know, in minute 36 and I'm on the treadmill, like, you know, relative to how well I know myself and how much I can get done in a minute, given, you know, the pre-exhaustion and how tired I'm going to be 35 minutes into this workout, like, what do I think is realistic for me to be able to finish? Is it 130? Is it 180? Am I just a sweet runner and I can do 220 at that time, right? If you put 220 at, you know, the 90 minute where it says 90 meter mark, right? Then you have to go backwards. So it'd be like 220, 210, 200, all the way down, and that would dictate where you're going to start on the treadmill. So a little bit of thought goes into where you want to begin. Now, on here, I put bike and rower at 4. So that's saying, you know, you're going to start at 4 calories every minute of the minute, and then you can see it goes up by 1 every single time as you work your way down. Now, this seems pretty easy at first, right? I'm going to do 10 meters on a treadmill, 4 calories, and 1 belly burpee, right? Like, that's not that challenging. But again, there is the only rest you have, and anybody that's done like the calorie climb on the bike knows that as the workout goes on, the rest gets shorter and shorter. It's going to get harder and harder. Now, the calorie climb is typically like 15 minutes or less, right? For most people. This is upwards of 40 minutes for everybody if you set it up correctly. So at no point are you ever going to get more than a minute of rest. That is, I mean, actually, you'll never get a minute of rest, right? So you're going to be eventually working in a very unfavorable work to rest ratio where you're working longer than you are resting for probably more than half of this workout if you set it up correctly, which is where, the muscular endurance is going to come into play and the aerobic foundation or floor is going to come into play. Our ability on the aerobic side to keep going is going to come into play, and then obviously the mental side of it. So you guys get to pick where you want to start. You go right down the list, and then what happens is, let's say, I'm on the 5 belly burpees, right? I get to there, hypothetically. I'm on 5 belly burpees, and I don't finish 5. What you're going to do is, I'm not going to finish. I'm going to circle that, right? So the clock goes off. I don't finish it. The chances are, if I don't finish this, then I'm probably not moving to the treadmill either. Like, I'm probably completely shot. So I'm going to circle that 5. Means I failed. This is where I failed. I'm going to move to the treadmill. Maybe I can scrape together these 60 meters, even though I'm so tired I couldn't finish my belly burpees. Let's say you finish your 60 meters. Great. You move on to the bike. Go to 9. You're so gassed. You finish the treadmill with like 2 seconds to go. You're onto the bike. Like, there's no way I'm finishing this. You're going to circle that 9 on the bike. So now we have circled 5 on the belly burpees, 9 on the bike. Those are 2 places I failed. When you get to the next round, so let's say I do my 9 on the rower successfully. I then move to the belly burpee, and it's 6. Well, I'm not going to go up to 6. I already failed at 5. So what I'm going to try to do is just do as much of the 5 as I can from here on out until I fail at all 4 of them. And what you guys are going to do is going to continue to go down the line, and you're just going to keep going up minute by minute. And then with each failure that passes, you're going to maintain that number in that particular column until you have 4 circles on your board. And you're going to try to identify where your main area of weakness is in these 4 movements and how well you knew yourself in these 4 movements. And again, this workout will, not quickly because it's 40 minutes, but it will allow you to identify where your real strengths are out of these 4 movements and where your main weakness is. And it's going to allow you to lean on your strengths if you think you have them, and maybe fade some of your weaknesses if you think you have them. Or it might enlighten you, like, oh my God, I did way better on the bike than I did on the treadmill. Like, I was just totally gassed on the treadmill coming off of a belly burpee, or whatever ends up happening. There's a lot of variables and outcomes to this, but this is how you're going to set your board up. You got to think about where you want to go and what you want to start at. It's a really cool approach. I'm telling you, like, it's fun every single time. I have all sorts of notes for this one and for myself written in there over the years. And I'm excited to see where I currently stand. So if you guys have any questions, obviously, as always, just let me know or let any of the trainers know.